All right, so we're going to do a little time breakdown here of actually how much time you have as a college student when you go away to school, or even when you're out of high school. What you have to remember is high school is very regimented. You're there for a very good amount, for a long time each day, and it soaks up a good amount of your day. But your students have a lot of time, and so I'm going to break it down just so you understand. And this is not only for students, but this is for parents to understand also that to send someone to school and just say, I just want them to study, or I just want them to do nothing but study. Well, you'll see in a minute how much actual time that really is. And so the first thing that has to go into first thing that goes into our equation here is how many hours are there. All right. So there's 168 hours in the week, 24 times 7. All right. So now one thing about time is it is. The same amount is given to every single person, all right? The same amount is given to the President of the United States as it is to the person, the bum on the street. You get the same amount of time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks in a year. And so whenever I feel like I have, oh my God, I have so much stuff to do, I always just stop and I just say, well, wait a second. Okay, what does the president have to do today? The president has a family. They have to deal with the economy. They have to deal with whatever wars are going on, foreign exchange, and a re-election campaign, and all the news reporters and all that stuff, and they have time to get everything done. And so the president doesn't say, oh, hey kids, I can't talk to you this week. I got this foreign affairs thing going on in North Korea. All right, so point being is there is enough time. You always have to say to yourself, there is enough time to get things done. Whenever somebody tells me there isn't enough time, I always feel like there is time, you're just not managing it properly. All right, so let's talk about, so there's 168 hours in a week. So then the first thing that's got to go in is sleep. You got to sleep. Now, sleep is a funny thing. The more or less of it that you do, the more or less of it that you need. All right. I have worked with college students who swear to me that if they do not get 12 hours of sleep every single day, they cannot function. They can't do anything. All right. And the reason why is because they've set that habit up they've set that habit up. They stay up till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning every single night, and then they don't take their classes because it's not high school. They don't take their first class until 2 or 3 in the afternoon, in the afternoon. And so they just sleep that entire time. And then they wonder why they can't function with less than 12 hours of sleep. I've also had students who worked to me who had military background and military training, and they're like, yeah, I can function just fine on 2 hours of sleep. Right? If they take 4 hours of sleep, they're like, their body just refuses to sleep anymore, and they just get up just naturally, on 4 hours of sleep. So both of those programs I'm not going to endorse, as far as it goes, but. What I will say is a good amount of sleep is 7 to 8 hours. So for this exercise, I'm going to say, let's say 8 hours of sleep, every day. So that gives you 56 hours of sleeping. All right. So the next thing I have on the list here, just down below, by the way, I did this subtraction for you, is personal upkeep. All right. So that includes showering, getting dressed. It includes ironing, doing your hair, making your bed, straightening up your room, basic stuff, organizing stuff, laundry, all that kind of stuff that you got to do. All right, so just personal upkeep of your room. Now, some students will take longer in this section than others. All right, that's just kind of how it goes. A girl with long hair and needs to do her hair is going to take a little bit longer than someone like me or someone with a shaved head. All right, so that's obviously that's going to be it's going to be different for each student. Some students, by the way, you go to a college classroom, mid-semester, and you'll see some students, they just roll out of bed and whatever they're wearing, that's their outfit for today. All right, and then they just go to class. All right, so again, it's going to be up to the student how much actual time they do. But I to be conservative, I said 2 hours a day for personal upkeep. Shower, shave, all your other stuff that you got to do before you go to class. So 2 hours a day, organizing your room, doing your laundry, and all that kind of stuff. So you get 2 hours. So it's 4 hours on the weekend when you don't have classes to kind of do your personal upkeep. All right. So next up, class time. All right. So a majority of schools, the way schools work is each credit is an hour of class time. All right. So for my example, I use someone who's taking 18 credits, okay? Now, the maximum most schools will give you is 21. Like, for special exceptions, like to graduate or something, you can take 24 sometimes. Normal schools, most schools, you have to take 15 credits per semester to graduate on time, which will give you 120 credits at the end of 4 years. I think the minimum at most schools that you can take to be considered a full-time student is 12. All right, so I'm using 18 as an aggressive number. Just again, most students can take 12 or 15 credits is on time, but I'm using 18 just to kind of show how much time there is. So let's say 18 credits. So you're in class for 18 hours. And I know, by the way, students won't go to class every single day. It's just kind of how it goes. Hopefully, you're one of the students who do if you watch my other videos. But again, let's say 18 hours a week. You go to every single class, every single time. All right, so that's 18 hours. Next up, eating. Now, college students' favorite pastime is going to the dining hall. All right, so colleges usually take about two different approaches towards their dining halls. One is that you get like a debit card or some kind of card that you put money on, and then you use it every time you go to the dining hall. Whatever you buy, whatever you eat, and then you can adjust it, or it's something that's set at the beginning of the semester. Most colleges like to set it up so you have to buy their card and then their debit card, not your own debit card, and pay. So you're not paying cash, and then there's extra. Now, what you have to do, and you have to be careful with, and this is actually in my paying for college section. You'll see some of this too. This might be repetitive for you, but the meal plans. All right, so you have to be careful with the meal plans when you're dealing with college. One, if they're at school, you have to find out what happens to the unused money at the end of the week or the month or whatever it is that you have to put the money on for the meal plan. Does it just get kept by the school? Do they roll it over to the next week or the next month? Is it applied towards something? Do you get it back? Like, what happens to the money that you pay for the meal plan with that debit card program? All right, so that's that. Also, the other plan is the meal plan. Okay, where that's what we had when I went to my school, when I went to Rutgers, you just buy a meal plan. Like there was the 21 meal plan or the 18 meal plan, and you would slash your card, and that would take one meal away, and you could go into the dining hall and you stay as long as you want. When you leave, then you have to just go through and slash your card again if you want to come back. Now, what happens with that, there's two issues with that. Number one, do not get the 21 meal plan. Okay, no student needs a 21 meal plan. It's a waste of money. And again, this might be repetitive for you, but you don't need 3 square meals a day. You're not going to stay there go there every single meal, and you end up wasting money because the 21 meals at the end of the week, 21 meals just goes away, and then you do 21 for the next week. So if you're only going there 5 times, then so what? The money doesn't go back. You just wasted those, that money that you spent for those meals. All right, so 18, 12 are usually okay. You'll be fine, especially if you're a freshman, you don't know, or you're a parent, you don't know what to do. So here's the thing with the dining hall, though. When you go into the dining hall, you can spend as much time there as you want. I remember spending once I spent 8 hours in the Brower dining hall, okay, at Rutgers University. Not eating for 8 hours straight, but just socializing, because different people would come in and then we'd talk, and then I'd go see and as I was walking out, I'd see somebody else, and I'm like, oh, hey, what happened to you last night, or blah blah blah, and you just end up I just skipped the class, probably skipped 2 classes that day, and I just spent the whole day at the dining hall. All right, so point being is, I'm not talking about the socializing part when we're doing this time management part. I'm just talking about the actual time eating food. All right, so let's say you take let's say you do have 3 squares and we'll say 3 hours a day to actually eat food. So it's 21 hours in a week. All right, so and I want to be as thorough as possible with this example. So to make it, make a point here. Now you might not need an hour, but I said I also put in 2 hours of travel time to and from school if you're a commuter. If you're not a commuter, then obviously you don't even need this. So you have even more time than I'm showing here. But usually I go to school 5 days a week, so that's 10 extra hours for traveling. Okay, so what that boils down to is now you have 49 hours left. Okay, after you've slept, eaten, done your own, your cleaned up your room and did your hair and all that kind of stuff, took a shower, and you've traveled back and forth to class, and you've actually gone to class. You've gone to all your classes. So after all that's done, you still have 50 hours a week, or basically 49 hours a week. So you're talking about 2 full days of not sleeping, not eating, not doing any of that stuff. 2 full days. It's a full-time job. Okay. Now, what you have left to do from that is you have to either study or party or have fun. Okay, those are the only two things left to do as a college student. Okay, other than waste the time. And so, so the point being is, if you need 49 hours a week to do either of those two things, you don't know how to study properly and you don't know how to party properly. All right, you don't need that much time to do either of those things properly. And so, so point being is, if you study, now the general rule of thumb is for every hour that you spend in class, you should spend an hour studying. So let's say you ascribe to that program. So that would be 18 hours of studying for the week. That would still leave you with 31 hours. All right, 31 hours. That's a part-time job, almost a full-time job. 10 hours short, 9 hours short of a full-time job that you have left of time. So here's the thing. You're going to do something with that time, and this is, I'm saying to the parents. I'm saying to the parents just as much as I'm saying to the students. That 31 hours you are going to be alive, okay? And there's a lot of extra time even put into the numbers there that I put in there. So you're either going to waste that time or you're going to be productive with that time, okay? And so, and some of that time can be put away for, you know, I remember as a college student, I played football, and we had like 3 or 4 classes in there that, 3 or 4 periods that I couldn't take class because I had to lift and I had to go to practice every single day. And so the point being is, there's a lot of time there. What you do with it is up to you, and we're going to talk about that, but don't waste it. That's the key thing.